Once upon a time, in a faraway land known as Colorado, a beautiful animal roamed the countryside, where day in and day out, it balanced the ecosystem. Traveling in packs, these predators moved with stealth, darting in and out of the shadows as they stalked the seemingly endless herds of deer, elk, and bison. The unbroken wilderness stretched further than the raven could fly, and as alphas took claim over territories of their own, it seemed this way of life would last forever. It was good to be a wolf. Then through a series of unfortunate events, the westward expansion of pioneers, the decimation of native species like buffalo, and the introduction of domestic animals like cattle, life for a wolf changed. All of a sudden, everyone was afraid of the big, bad wolf. Humans quickly decided that wolves were bloodthirsty, villainous killers that must be destroyed. And this inaccurate narrative cast a long, dark shadow that these animals could not control, could not rewrite, and could not escape. According to Parks and Wildlife, the last gray wolves were eradicated from Colorado in the late 1930s, and have not roamed this wilderness since. Today is a new day, and with our help, that is going to change. As a child, I would dream of wolves often, with the vision that I would one day witness a pack running swiftly through a dense forest, on the hunt and in hot pursuit of their next meal. It's a dream that is yet to come true, and for many years, the Brave Wilderness team and I have been trying to capture a meaningful episode that centers around the plight of these incredible canids. The Colorado Wolf and Wildlife Center is located roughly 2 hours outside of Denver. All of their animals are rescues, and their mission is to educate the public about the ecological importance of wolves, coyotes, and foxes.
I'm really excited. This is going to be the first time in my life that I've entered an enclosure with wolves. I'm going to get to meet the wolves at some point, and then the ultimate payoff will be us actually feeding some of the wolves a deer carcass. Several days ago, Darlene and her team acquired a deer that was hit by a car, and we're going to get the chance to place that carcass in an enclosure, enter it, and watch and film these wolves actually do what it is that they do. Wolves eating. This is going to be an epic day.
Today I will be working with founder and CEO, Darlene Kababble. Early in her life, Darlene was terrified of wolves due to their misrepresentation in popular culture.
Are you a good girl? My love for wolves started a long time ago, actually by rescuing a wolf dog from a shelter that was going to be euthanized. And when I rescued her, she actually became my inspiration of wanting to be a voice for wolves. This has been a long journey to get to this point here. My heart and soul goes into wanting to be a voice for wolves, and excited about one day getting them back out into the wild.
Through this relationship, Darlene overcame her fears and recognized that her path in life was to not only rescue wolves, but to help others see them in a positive light. My goal is to do the same. I have no fear around wolves. I'm genuinely excited to work with these animals, and I definitely want to make a good first impression. To prepare for this moment, Darlene suggested that I get to know some of the center's other ambassadors. So in the days leading up to my wolf encounter, I was given the chance to work with a pair of red foxes, where I witnessed their clever tactics for outwitting a human.
Hi, how are you? Look at this.
The same cleverness that would be exemplified by a wolf.
That's cool, right? Oh, all right, there he goes. He's got my glove. Let's see what happens. No. Look who got their glove back. Oh, I got it.
After that, Darlene introduced me to a coyote. posturing and tone play a crucial role in deciding an animal's acceptance of humans. And in just a matter of minutes, I was able to earn the Coyote's trust.
This is amazing. Amazing. I thought it was going to take so much longer for him to get comfortable. He must know that I'm one of his friendly cousins.
This was a huge step for me and demonstrates that even a timid animal felt comfortable in my presence. By successfully interacting with these smaller canids, Darlene is now confident that I am ready to advance to the next level, entering an enclosure with wolves. The gray wolf is considered the largest of the canids. Males can reach 150 pounds, and while they do grow larger than the females, a lady wolf only weighs in at around 90 pounds. My first encounter will be with a wolf known as Orenda. Like all wolves, Orenda is always on high alert, with her senses firing on all cylinders. Front-facing eyes provide an incredible field of vision with highly tuned depth perception. Ears perked, this wolf can hear sound frequencies from many miles away and can detect a multitude of sounds human ears cannot. But Orenda's most powerful tool is her nose, which contains roughly 300 million olfactory receptors, making her sense of smell 40 times greater than that of a human. I mention these senses because they immediately allow Orenda to tune in with foreign objects, like cameras and bearded strangers, that are about to enter her home.
Now, Darlene said I need to take off the majority of my outer clothing. That's so that the wolves don't grab onto my hood. As you can see, this jacket has some fur on it, which looks like a great thing for a wolf to grab onto and play with. And they're extremely powerful. The last thing I want to happen is for a wolf to grab me and start dragging me somewhere. So I'm gonna also take off this vest, and then I'm gonna put on my Wolf Warrior in Training vest. Now, Darlene did also say to take off my hat because the wolves may take it, but it's keeping my head warm right now, so I think we'll just see what happens. And I think at this point, I'm ready to enter into the enclosure and become one of the wolf pack. Here we go, a coyote meeting wolves. All right, Darlene, I'm geared up. I kept the hat on. If they take the hat, I feel like I'll be okay with it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so through here?
Yes, are you ready?
Yeah, I think I'm ready.
Alrighty.
I'm excited.
Okay, so I'm gonna let you in first, then I'm gonna shut the door after you.
Okay.
It's a double gate system.
Okay.
Secure. All right, so this is our second gate here. It's a big step down, so be real careful. It's icy out here in January. Okay, so the white one up there is our little Arctic wolf. His name, he's a male, is Isha.
Hi, Isha.
And then we have Orenda, that's over here.
All right.
And that's the female. There she is. So she probably likes you to get down on her level there.
Okay.
As you can see, there's some deer fur that you're sitting in right there. And palm up with her. Oh, she's giving you some kisses.
All right. Hi, how are you? How are you? This is amazing. My first face-to-face encounter with the wolf. I see your paw, it's so big. Wow, it's amazing being right next to a wolf like this. They're a lot bigger than you would think, especially those paws. I'm just letting her check me out right now. Yeah, I see. Is it okay for me to be in here? Now, what's the best way for me to seem submissive to this wolf, Darlene?
Always be down on her level.
Okay.
And when you go to pet them, you want under the chin instead of on top of the head.
Okay.
Because she can see your hand that way.
Okay.
Because it can make them nervous if you're going over the top of the head. Good
So
girl.
how old is she?
She is 2 years of age.
Okay.
So she's pretty much still a pup.
How are you?
Those beautiful yellow eyes that she has.
But she's pretty much full size right now, correct?
Yeah, she is. She has her full winter coat on. Weight on her would probably be around 80 pounds.
Okay.
78, 80 pounds. And she is a gray wolf, or also known as timber wolf.
Yep.
Gray wolf and timber wolf, same thing. Just depends on where you live and what you call them.
I would say she's the most quintessential look. When you think wolf,
Yes.
she is sort of that perfect color design. And they come in multiple different color phases. There's like this gray mixture, black, white. Is there any other that mix in there as well?
You know, your typical is going to be what we call a silver gray, like what you see there. They can be in shades of black, black and sort of a cream. They can have some reddish tones in there, but that is your most typical. When you think of a gray wolf or a timber wolf, that's sort of what you think of.
Orenda.
Orenda.
So is there a key word or phrase that you use to bring her in closer to you ever?
She likes high-pitched voices. And if you say treats really high, she definitely is treat motivated.
Okay.
So she likes that as well. And she knows I have a couple in my pocket.
I see.
And so she's checking you out, and she said, "Oh, there's something else fuzzy
she's got
there."
My hood.
No.
She's got my hood.
she wants something fuzzy.
You want
So I'm going
something
to try
play
to.
with.
Yep.
That's
So what you want to do is make sure that she's not getting behind your neck there, because she'll want to steal them.
Yeah.
Oh, she said, "I'll give you a kiss."
No, I did grow out this beard just for you guys.
No, none of that.
What is she saying with that little growl there?
She's saying that she doesn't want you to lay down. She wants you to set up like
I
that.
see.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she's probably wanting your jacket, and so she's saying, I want that jacket.
I see.
She could be a little bit nervous because there's a lot of people in here who don't know what's going on, and I have meat treats, and she's wanting that and not wanting you to take it away from her. And that could be...
That is the full wolf kiss right there.
Yes, it is. And I'm glad that she has good breath and she hasn't ate a roadkill deer.
Yes.
So I'll bring her over here. See how fast she is?
Yeah.
Here you go.
Okay. There you go. Oh, yeah. It makes you nervous to feed a wolf pieces of meat. You don't want your finger to end up in there, so as soon as she goes for it, I try to keep my hand...
That's calling eat like a wolf.
Yeah, eating like a wolf. It's amazing how fast she's...
Very fast, and you got to be very careful with your fingers.
Yep.
So very fast. There we go.
There we go.
That's gone that quick.
Yeah, I see what you're doing. We're letting her kind of like dig in like that a little bit. I'm a little nervous that she might grab onto my thumb.
The way she is right now, I would probably just do a flat hand there. And what I'm trying to do is get her away so you can sort of just see how quick she is, and if it falls on the ground, let her go. Let her pick it up. Yes.
Yeah. That definitely gets your heart racing a little bit as soon as she lunges like that, and you can just see. I mean, the power and the strength and the speed it's just incredible.
It is.
I can imagine what it would be like to see wolves in the wild, a pack of them taking down something like a moose. You think about how big an ungulate like that is, and how they work together as a team to bring something down. Just being this close, seeing that power within this proximity, you can understand how they're able to move so quickly to throw that animal off balance, be able to work together as a team to then take down larger prey.
Absolutely. Good girl.
Now when it comes to the pack structure here within the individual enclosures, I noticed that there's 2 wolves per enclosure. Now, are they both considered alphas within their own little domain?
What happens is we try to pair them up, usually in a male-female combination there. I have had up to a 6-pack together, but because you've changed all the dynamics in a captive situation, that does change. Whereas out in the wild, they can disperse from a pack. In captivity, that doesn't happen. And so eventually it keeps dwindling down to where you have 2 compatible pair.
Well, I think we've had the great chance to be up close and personal with the wolf. And now, as I understand it, you guys actually have a roadkill deer that we'll be able to bring into one of the enclosures and actually see how wolves eat.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, I think I'm ready. If you're ready,
yes,
let's feed some wolves.
Let's do that.
The wolf is considered to be one of the most intelligent and resilient animals on the planet. So how is it that they are struggling to avoid extinction? The answer is simple: humans. Wolf populations have declined due to no weakness of their own, but instead, these animals have been the victim of ruthless persecution. To date across the world, wolves have been eradicated from almost all of their original range. In the United States alone, they now only occupy 10% of their former range. Overhunting for the fur trade, eradication by ranchers who are protecting their livestock, and deforestation are just a few examples of what have driven wolves toward extinction.
So here's what's happening. This is the first time a film crew has ever gone in with a roadkill deer to film wolves. The 2 wolves whose enclosure we're entering are actually the wildest wolves on the property. So we're trying to make sure we're taking all the proper safety precautions before going through with this exercise. As you can see, we have a mule deer here in this wheelbarrow. The deer was struck by a car, and this is great. This is part great enrichment for the wolves. This is completely natural food for them to be eating. But like I said, this is the first time anyone will have entered an enclosure with these wolves to do a filming like this, so we gotta make sure we get everything right. This is gonna be wild. All right, here we go. Ready? Entering into the first gate here. This is it. All right, Darlene, I'll have you open the gate. I'm gonna need to try to move as quick as I can to get the carcass up on the hillside before the wolves converge in on it.
So you have Rockshaw here. He's probably going to be your one that's going to take it quicker than her.
Okay.
Because she's up at the top. So he's one that we'll have to watch out for. So
okay.
The male.
Great. Here we go. Pulling a mule deer carcass into an enclosure of wolves. All right, let's go. All right, now go ahead, you follow me. I'm bringing it up. Dinner served, boys and girls. Now what we want to do is just stay a safe distance back, and the wolves are coming straight in for the carcass. Here we go. Don't want to make them feel as if they're being challenged at all. Look at that. This wolf is so incredibly powerful. This is a small deer, right? A single wolf can pull a 150-pound deer up a hill like this. Okay, as the wolves begin to pull it, we can slowly follow to get closer. And you can see the male, the alpha male, is very much going to be the first one to feed. In the pack mentality, it's always the alphas that are going to be the first one to feast. You have the female, she's the black one, running up in the background there. We're a little cautious at the moment because we have cameras in the enclosure. I see you, big boy, you're good. That's for you. That's for you. Enjoy, that's dinner. That's all you. That's pretty nerve-wracking right there. Okay. Beautiful. Let's see where the wolf takes the carcass, and then we can set up and determine how we're gonna film this. Okay, I see you. I'm gonna move down slowly like this. First order of business for a wolf is to start removing that hair. They will eat some of the hair, and it works as fiber through their system to remove any bone particles or parasites within the organs. And says the alpha male, he's taking charge of the situation. The female, she's very skittish right now. She notices that there's other people within the enclosure, but as she gets more comfortable, she'll come down and also start feeding. When a pack of wolves makes a kill, whether it's a deer, an elk, or a moose, they need to try to consume the meat as quickly as possible. There are many other vandals that will come in and steal a kill. Wolves in the northernmost range of their territory have to face things like grizzly bears and wolverines. Even something as small as a wolverine will come in and chase an entire pack of wolves off of its kill. So they want to eat as quickly as they possibly can, then they'll rip stuff apart and then take it away and stash it. I see you. That's my gift from me to you. Enjoy that deer. You're just kind of testing the limits right now, right? Walking away, making sure, okay, you're not going to get any closer, are you? This is my deer. If you think you're going to get closer, I'll show you what a wolf can do to a coyote. So we've backed off even further from the carcass, which has opened up that level of comfort for the female. She's come down now, and she's just eating some of the scraps. Yeah, some interesting little behavior there. Female came in and she was like, I'm gonna start eating. You see the alpha male is definitely taking control of the situation.
By displaying his teeth and snapping, it may look as if Raksha is being overly aggressive toward Chakra, but he's not. He is visually saying, let me have my fill, you will get your turn. This is common, everyday behavior for wolves, and despite the fact that it looks scary, it really shouldn't be.
I have been witness to some pretty cool animal encounters, but I don't think anything tops getting to feed wolves a mule deer carcass. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure.
What if I told you that everything you thought you knew, that everything you feared about wolves, was nothing more than a poorly written narrative constructed over 100 years ago? Think about that. What if story has been wrong the entire time. Consider this. Of the 100 million cattle raised in the United States every year, do you know how many fall prey to wolves? 0.01%. Do you want to know how many humans have been killed by wolves in the past century? 2. This planet needs wolves more than any of us will ever understand. And most of us will never do a single thing to edit the wrongful narrative that has been written. Are you afraid of the big bad wolf? If so, go and visit the Colorado Wolf and Wildlife Center. I challenge you to face your fears, and I promise you will walk away with a newfound respect and a feeling in your heart that can only be achieved once you've looked into the eyes of a wolf. As a child, I dreamed of one day encountering wolves in the wild, and it's a dream I hope comes true in Colorado. If you live in this beautifully wild state, please support Bill 107, as this initiative will allow for the reintroduction of wolves into the wild and will put paws on the ground by 2023. We can't rewrite the past, but for the love of wolves, we can change their future. To help us bring wolves back to Colorado, click on the link in the video description below and visit the Rocky Mountain Wolf Project. "150 million years ago, a torpedo-shaped, armor-covered predatory fish swam virtually unchallenged in the presence of dinosaurs. Fast forward to the present day, and relatives of this beast still swim, nearly unchanged in design, reigning as freshwater megafauna. Gar are masters of evolution. They have survived beyond the dinosaurs and everything that came after, until their existence ran up against an inescapable fate: humans. I'm about to rock the boat, and this episode is about to make some waves. So if you're ready to join the fight, together, we stand the chance of saving these fish. Welcome to the Gar Wars. A conservation fish force has awoken. I caught a big fish once. Perhaps you remember my encounter with the blue catfish.
How about that, boy? Holy cow.
Well, if you thought that was an impressive freshwater river monster, you aren't going to believe your eyes when you see where this episode is headed. But before we get to catching, first, we gotta go fishing. On this wild fish chase, I will be working alongside the Gar guys: Hayden, Max, and Florian. Hayden is a graduate student from Texas A&M who is researching alligator gar for his master's project, while Max and Florian, two wild Dutchmen and experienced gar wranglers from the Netherlands, are working in tandem with Hayden's research as part of their graduation internship and the completion of their master's degree. These guys love fish more than you can possibly comprehend. So for me and Mario, it's an honor to document their process and share in their fight for the conservation of this species.
So right now what we're doing is using a scanner, the Humminbird system, to determine if there are fish in this area. And we are seeing little marks show up on this scanner that definitely look as if they could be very large fish, which is a good sign. Max, do you like this spot?
We definitely like the spot. It has some slack water, and that's basically what we need to catch these fish because they really like to be out of the current. And we can actually efficiently set our nets, otherwise the current would take them and the fish won't swim in, or they would just bounce off. So this seems to be a really good spot to catch them.
Okay, so this sounds like this may be a spot for us to cast the next gill net. Let's see if this is the lucky location to catch a monster gar.
This simple-looking, yet high-tech device reveals many of the water's secrets, including hidden obstacles like trees, water depth, and if we are lucky, the distinct body signatures of fish. Rod and reel is a very sporty way to fish for gar, but setting a hook in their bony mouths can be nearly impossible and places an incredible amount of stress on the fish. So to lessen the impact, we will fish with gill nets. 200 feet wide by 10 feet tall, we carefully stretch these supersized nets across the river, one upstream and another downstream. Bright yellow buoys help to keep the net afloat, while also working as a signal to the team. If a fish swims into and becomes entangled in the net, these bright indicators will bob up and down, alerting that a fish has been caught.
Okay, we officially have the first 2 nets set in the water. The next part of looking for gar is called waiting. We're gonna spend about an hour just watching the nets, hoping that eventually the buoys go beneath the surface. Now, if one goes all the way down, Florian and Max said that that pretty much means you've got a monster fish. So we're gonna keep our fingers crossed. We like the spots where the nets are set. Now we sit and wait, see what happens.
The term river monster is an all too familiar description of a seemingly malicious animal that lurks beneath the surface of our planet's flowing freshwater systems. In fairness, it's also the title of my all-time favorite television series. However, it's important to redefine what the gar truly is, because the term monster carries with it an unfairly assigned, notorious reputation. Worldwide, there are 7 species of these toothy fish, 3 of which we may encounter in this area. The spotted gar, which is beautifully speckled in an uncoordinated array of spots. The long-nosed gar, named for its definitively slender and noticeably elongated snout. And the alligator gar, which hails as the largest and seemingly most menacing of the gar gang. Yes, they are big, fast, armor-scaled, and equipped with rows of needle-like teeth. But don't let their appearance snap your initial assumptions into false accusations. Gar do not attack humans, and honestly, the only well-documented bites derive from anglers that are accidentally bitten while trying to remove fishing hooks. Yet it was uneducated fear-mongering dating back nearly 100 years that put the alligator gar on a hit list of North America's dangerous animals. Sadly, populations have been extirpated in many areas of their natural range, and if things couldn't get worse, now these fish face a new threat: bow hunting. But before we kick the door open on that sensitive topic, first, we better check the nets.
Okay, right now we're motoring upriver on our way to check one of the nets that's been sitting for about 40 minutes.
Sorry, we couldn't hear you.
What? We got some movement in a buoy. There may be a fish up in this net. Okay, we might have something. All right, let's do it. Right now, just keeping eyes on those buoys. If there's a fish in there, we don't want to startle it, because while they may get tangled up in the nets, it's also rather easy for them to get out unless we get the net actually curled around the fish. So fingers crossed. We really like the way that we had this set originally. Oh, got a fish.
Oh, for real? Oh, long nose. That's cool.
Gar.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Yes.
All right, that's
Look at that. Oh, wow. Is that good? Yep. Yes, please. Okay, so right now what Max is doing is gently getting the net out of the gar's teeth. Very dangerous little procedure here. We gotta use what are called net hooks. This is so that he does not lose a finger in the process.
Take all the time.
This is my first encounter ever with a long-nosed gar. Never seen one of these before. It's beautiful. Look how bluish in coloration it is.
It's a decent sized long nose too.
There it is.
There it is.
Amazing. Okay, look at that. That is a long-nosed gar. Now, long-nosed gar gets its name because of that elongated snout. If you take a good look there, that mouth is filled full of needle-sharp teeth. Now, they specialize in eating fish, and you can see that if you were a fish and you got stuck in those jaws, it would be a very bad day. And look at the blue iridescence in coloration. This is an absolutely beautiful fish. And just like the alligator gar, they are covered in these armored scales. Big eyes, bulbous, right on the side of the head. They have incredible vision, and that streamlined body basically makes them a long, muscular missile. underwater, these fish have incredible speed. Now, these fish can stay out of water for a significant amount of time, and right now the fish is secreting this very thick, slippery mucus from its scales. That's helping to keep it hydrated. We don't want to keep it out of the water for too long. What a beautiful fish. I just can't get over how incredible and how prehistoric looking these animals are. Now, I would say this is about average size for a long-nosed gar. They get quite a bit bigger than this in some instances, but for seeing a long-nosed gar for the first time, I don't think it can get much better than this. And the river always makes you work for it. You're not gonna get the alligator gar on the first catch, but seeing this species is definitely something that we hoped would happen while out here working with the gar guys. Let's see here. All right, there we go. Just a second. All right, let's keep checking the net. This is a good spot.
I think we have one.
Yeah. Right there.
Wait, is that? Oh, that's a big fin, man.
Oh boy.
Perfect. That's perfect.
Look at that. Our first alligator gar. Woo! All right, definitely have to watch out for that snout and that skull full of needle sharp teeth. So what we're doing right now is safely getting the gar out of the net. The calmer we can keep the fish, the less stress we put on it, the better for its health and safety. That is a very good size alligator gar.
And right now, we slide it down a little bit.
Okay.
You can see it's just caught with its teeth.
Yep.
And that's what usually happens with the really big fish. They get caught only with their teeth.
Up the small tube. Okay, fish is free.
Hold on.
It's a big slimer, this one. Look at my hands just covered
Do you smell it?
in gar slime. Yeah, the smell.
Oh, that was gold.
Yeah, very distinct smell as compared to other fish.
Eyes covered with the towel.
Yep.
It experiences less stress.
Yep, just like alligators. Okay, or keep a towel over it.
Right.
Okay, cool. Let's get into the shade and collect some biometrics. Alligator gar. There it is.
The gar guys collect meaningful biometrics on any alligator gar they catch, including the fish's head length,
22.5.
its full body length,
146 centimeters.
Wow.
and the girth circumference.
58.
The base of its dorsal fin is tagged with a unique identification flag, and a micro pit tag is quickly inserted so that if the fish is caught in the future, they can quickly scan and ID it. Are you guys ready for this? Meet the alligator gar.
Look at the size of that fish, a true river monster, and one of the most ancient fish species that still swims on this planet. Remember, the relatives of this fish date back 100 million years, which means that this fish's cousins were swimming amongst the dinosaurs. Obviously, the head is incredibly interesting, and when I turn it like this right toward you and you look down on top of the snout, they get the name alligator gar from that wide, broad snout. It looks just like the snout of an alligator. And one other cool aspect about the skull is the fact that these bones are interlocking with this fleshy cartilage that allows the skull to expand. So if this fish catches a prey item larger than it can fit in its mouth, its skull actually stretches almost like a snake, and that's able to position its prey and swallow it down whole. Now, when you look down the length of this fish's body, it is incredibly streamlined. Let me lift it up just a little bit, like a large muscular missile. Oh, come here, buddy. When you get down to the tail, the dorsal fin is way down near the caudal fin, and that tail works like a rudder to help propel this fish forward through its watery environment. This fish is about as slippery as it gets in this direction, but if you run your hand backwards, it almost feels like sandpaper. When you see the fish coming up to the surface like that and biting, it's not because it's aggressive, it's actually taking a breath of air. Remember, this species is very unique in that it has bimodal respiration. It is able to breathe either at the surface or through its gills. And it can take 30 to 40 years for a fish to reach just this size. So getting protections in place to make sure that the future of this species is preserved is incredibly important. And the work that the GAR guys are doing and our ability to feature this fish species will hopefully help to get protections in place so that these fish are on the planet for 100 million more years. What an incredible giant.
There's no question about it. That was a big fish. But in the GAR universe, our first catch was simply a megafauna candidate in training. Now, before we got all excited about checking the nets, I started to mention bow fishing and how this lawless sport is taking a noticeable toll on the future of these living relics. Remember when I warned you about rocking the boat? It's time to put on your life jacket, because a tidal wave of conservation is building on the horizon. We need your support, but before you can help, it's important to witness what we are fighting for. Alligator gar are one of the most long-lived fish in the Western Hemisphere, and it can take more than a decade for them to reach maturity. Once reproductive age has been achieved, males and females migrate from the protection of deep waterways and into shallow floodplains where breeding takes place. Sadly, it's this intimate setting where the largest number of mature adults are being killed by bow fishermen. Warning: the following images are graphic and may be disturbing to younger viewers. Bow fishing is a brutal sport that is simply defined as shooting fish with a bow and arrow. Now, before we rush to judgment, it's important to recognize that not all bow fishermen and their practices are bad. Technically, this hunting style is not illegal, and in some instances, it can be beneficial to the ecosystem. One example is the harvesting of invasive Asian carp. The problem exists when their arrows are intentionally shot toward apex predators, like alligator gar. Gar are considered rough or trash fish, and while some people do consume their catch, the majority dump lifeless carcasses along the river embankments. Over time, the trophy hunting destruction of these long-lived fish will prove detrimental to the necessary balance of our river ecosystems. And without restrictions, you can understand why these living dinosaurs find themselves at risk of going extinct.
Right now we are coming up on a buoy which is very low in the water. This could be a fish. Check this out. Way sunk down as compared to the other ones. This could be a fish. All right, so what do we want to do, guys?
We want to grab the float line, see where the fish exactly is at.
Okay.
And then we see from which way it swam in and get it on board so we can tag it. So gently, once you notice the boat's over it, gently lift it up.
Seeing a lot of bubbles right here. There is a huge fish in this net. It may be, without question, the biggest fish you guys are ever going to see. We gently started to pull up the net. I saw its snout. Its head may be 2 feet in length alone. So we're waiting for Mario to catch up. We were checking a different net. Cameras are running. This is going to be our river monster, guys. Now it's just a matter of getting it on the boat.
I'm estimating that this one is 2 meters.
It could be a 250-pound fish.
Giant!
Huge!
Giant.
Huge! Get your camera ready!
What do you think the boat's position, Joel?
It's right. It sounds right at me.
Oh my God, that is giant. That is giant. Grab it. Max?
Florian, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We need to figure out a way to get the lead line around it. Florian, I need your help too.
Yeah,
Okay, here we go.
I need your help too,
Can I come over here? Yep, let me get out of the way. I'm gonna wake the boat from this side.
It's good, it's good, it's good. Oh my God, this is a big fish.
This is a huge
I got your leg, I got your leg.
That one is not coming out anymore. Oh my God, this might be the biggest we have.
Wow! It's a huge fish, guys!
Wow!
Wow! Okay, what do we gotta get it up into the boat?
We need your help
my
getting it in the
God.
boat.
Okay, where do you want me at? Where do you want me?
Right in the middle next to us.
It is an absolute river monster. Holy mackerel.
I think.
Oh, my fingers. Okay, there you go.
You ready?
1, 2, 3.
Yes! Woo! In the boat. Woo! Holy cow! That is a river monster. It is absolutely massive. All right, slide it back. Okay. Yes! Fish is secure. Oh my gosh. It's massive. Absolutely massive. So right now we're getting the net off of the fish. We're gonna get into a shaded area, start collecting the biometrics, and we're definitely gonna take a good look. This is what river monster legends are made of. This alligator gar is the biggest fish I've ever seen. No questions asked. So their namesake, where it comes from, that reptile, you can see how closely this fish resembles a reptile of that magnitude. I'm beside myself right now. This is crazy. This fish is huge. Yeah, there you go. Fish is free. Fish is free from the net. Okay, we got to get the net out of the boat here. Guys, this is
Incredible.
And this is your last day in the field.
Our very last day.
And it may be your biggest fish.
It may be our biggest fish. I mean, to share this moment with you guys, it's...
Wow, I mean, this is where the legends come from. Fish of this size is what they write stories about. I never imagined we would catch one this big.
As is the case with all alligator gar, we work quickly to collect biometric data. Length, girth, identification flag, and insertion of a micropit tag, which stands for Passive Integrated Transponder. For clarification, this is not a tracking chip. It's an identification tag that can quickly be scanned to ID this fish if it is caught again in the future.
Prepare to have your mind absolutely boggled, because this is the biggest alligator gar we could have possibly come across. This fish measures almost 8 feet in length and is close to 220 pounds. If that doesn't define a river monster, I don't know what does. I can barely fit my arms all the way around it. It feels like I'm holding on to a dolphin, or probably more accurately to say, holding on to something that is a dinosaur. Remember, these creatures have been on the planet for over 100 million years. Look at the size of this fish's head. Its jaws are massive. Its eyeballs, enormous. And its skull absolutely dwarfs my hand when I place it up on top. The armored plating that runs down the length of this fish is so thick, you can easily see why Native Americans turned these ganoid scales into arrowheads. In fact, you could turn this entire fish's back into an armored breastplate if you needed to. Of course, that's certainly not something we would ever need to do, and it's probably taken this fish close to 50, if not more years to grow to this proportion. Let me see if I can lift it up just a little bit in the water. It's a little more buoyant, so it's a little easier. Look at the size of it. Absolutely massive. That's taking all my strength just to get it. And when I turn it like this, look at the length of the body. Look at the dorsal fin, the caudal fin. Absolutely gigantic. I have never seen a creature of this magnitude. My entire life, I have been fascinated by the alligator gar. Similar to the snapping turtle, this is a creature that was just considered a nuisance, a trash fish technically, and at one point in time they tried to eradicate this species off the face of the planet. Because they have this menacing looking snout and those big teeth, people were afraid that a fish of this size would grab onto their legs, pull them down into the murky depths and eat them. But you can see how docile this animal truly is. In fact, it's so docile, I'm comfortable getting just within inches of those teeth. This is not a bloodthirsty, ravenous killer. This is a gentle, sentient being, feasting on other fish and doing its best to stay out of the sight of humans. Now, the biggest threat an animal of this proportion faces truly is man. Can you fathom coming out into the environment and shooting an animal like this with a bow and arrow? It absolutely breaks my heart to think that these fish are hunted for sport. Now, if we could get the alligator gar listed as a game fish. That would limit the number of fish that were killed for sport. Something of this magnitude is an important part of the breeding population. This is without question a female. The females dwarf the males in size, and it's her genetics that will carry on the future. Woo-hoo-hoo! Got splashed in the face there by that gulp of air. It's her genetics that will carry on the future of these fish. And in a protected stretch of river like this, that is how a creature of this proportion managed to grow this big. This is something that deserves to be living here on our planet. They are doing an incredibly positive thing for the environment by balancing the ecosystem. This is considered megafauna. This is the apex predator within this river ecosystem. And without these fish swimming freely, the river will not be in proper balance. I just truly can't get over the size of this fish. There are virtually no words that can describe the experience of being in the water with an animal like this. And over the past 24 hours, we have spent a considerable amount of time learning from the gar guys. Here we are on our last day, checking our final nets, and we managed to land a truly epic river monster, an ancient relic, a living dinosaur. We have collected the biometrics, and now it's time for this fish to carry on its genetic traits into the future. This has been an experience unlike anything I have ever been a part of before. Finally getting to see a truly monstrous-sized alligator gar in its natural habitat. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. This was something else.
The current Texas state record caught on rod and reel weighed 279 pounds, while the all-time world record tips the scales at 327 pounds. Our fish measured 7 feet 5 inches in length, estimated weight of 220 pounds. So while we won't be awarded any Guinness accolades, I think we can all agree that this is one very big fish.
What's it like just swimming alongside one of these giants?
It's like swimming with a dinosaur, swimming with the most awesome animal on the planet.
I mean, this is a great example to show how non-aggressive these fish are. I mean, literally, you can kiss this guy on the, or this girl on the nose right now.
Nose bump.
For anybody who was afraid of alligator gar, this proves right here, Max is inches away from those teeth. No signs of aggression whatsoever. Incredible. What a sentient, peaceful being. Unbelievable. All right, you guys ready to release the beast?
We're ready.
All right, here she goes. See you later, big fish.
We will never be able to convince all archers to put down their bows, but we can lessen the number of fish they kill. To do that, we need Fish and Wildlife Management, not only in Texas, but all states, to list the alligator gar as a game fish. What this will do is limit the number of fish that can be harvested on a daily and ultimately yearly basis. It also puts restrictions in place that will prevent the needless slaughter of these animals during breeding season, when they are most susceptible to the atrocities of archers. I know that the fight for these regulations will anger those who enjoy bow fishing, but it's important for the future of these fish that we preserve the largest breeding individuals, as it's their genetics that will ensure this species isn't driven to extinction. If you want to join the fight and battle on the front lines of the gar wars, I encourage you to take a stand. Speak out. Sign the petition that will give alligator gar a game fish status, and use your internet voice to share this link with as many people as possible. I believe that a conservation fish force has awoken, and we will make the difference that these fish cannot make for themselves. Together we will create a new hope for the future of these living dinosaurs. A thick cloud of lore has hung for centuries over the densely forested mountains of Japan. Stories that spoke of creatures living and lurking within the shadows of the trees and deep beneath its flowing rivers. Yet, as is often the case with lore, and its tendency to be passed from storyteller to storyteller, the truth behind the tale is often skewed and quite frequently misunderstood. The Tottori Prefecture proudly hails as being one of the most remote stretches of wilderness in all of Japan. Breathtaking is the beauty that defines this wild place, and we are honored to step foot on these sacred grounds. Today, the brave wilderness team and I will be breaking trail for an adventure unlike any we have embarked upon before, as we join the world's leading authority in Japanese giant salamander research and conservation, Dr. Sumio Okada, also known as Okada Sensei. For over 2 decades, Okada Sensei has been tirelessly working to protect these fragile amphibians, whose breeding grounds are under the constant threat of habitat degradation due to the building of dams and embankment protection walls. The Japanese giant salamander is the second largest amphibian in the world and is considered a living fossil, as their biology has barely changed in millions of years. This, along with their cryptic nature, has shrouded them in a cloak of mystery, and you will soon understand why they have been revered as river dragons.
Wow, you can feel the energy in the air within this forest. It is ancient, and the animals that live here, these Japanese giant salamanders, are about as prehistoric as it gets. I'll tell you what, guys, the salamanders are out there. So as we get closer to sunset, we're gonna gear up and head out at night. As you know, these amphibians are nocturnal, so our best chance of coming across them will be under the cover of darkness.
Finding river dragons is not impossible under the light of day. Yet it's their nocturnal feeding habits that make them much more likely to emerge from their dens at night.
All right, guys, well, this is the spot. Dr. Okada says this is where we're getting into the river. We're gonna head upstream and hopefully find some giant salamanders. All right, lead the way.
With Okada Sensei leading us forward, the glow of our flashlight beams cut through the darkness, and the search for salamanders was underway. In nearly every episode featured on the Brave Wilderness channel, I have been the one who is expected to safely catch our target species. Yet with the giant salamander, that will not be the case. Due to their vulnerable status and cultural importance to the Japanese people, these amphibians are considered a special national monument by the Japanese government. Strict laws and licensing means only Okada Sensei and other licensed researchers are able to catch and handle giant salamanders in the wild. My job will be to spot and assist in recording data if one is found.
I'll tell you what, guys, you wander away from the rest of the group and just spread out by yourself searching, and I just can imagine what it would be like hundreds of years ago to come across one of these creatures for the first time. You could certainly see where all of the lore and the myth would have come from. These incredible, enormous river dragons just out here in the darkness hunting amongst the current. It's exciting to be out here, and hopefully we're gonna find a big one.
Even with waders keeping our clothes dry, the chill of the water was enough to send consistent shivers down our spines. Yet the thrill of the search and the hope of encountering a true giant kept us all fighting forward. Then suddenly, as if manifested from silt and shadow, there in the ripple of broken fragments of light, the silhouette of a dragon materialized.
Wait, something right here. Right here, we got one.
You got one?
Yeah, look at this. Wow, okay. Look at that, perfect ambush behavior right there. Just waiting down current with its head pointed in towards the middle of the river. Now, if a fish or a crab comes by, it's capable of just gulping it straight down into its gullet. Now, if I can take just a minute before we catch it, what I want to do is actually just slink down in the water here with the GoPro on a little light. Let's go ahead and drop those lights down lower. Is that okay for your camera?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Okay, let's try that. And I want to see if I can get some shots of it just naturally right there in its environment. Oh, this is great. All right, it's just holding its ground right now. It definitely can sense that we are here. And I'm able to get right up close to it. Oh, that is so cool. Wow.
That's a good one.
That is a good sized salamander. What an ancient looking creature. All right, Dr. Okada, move in for the catch. Yes. Man, I got a pretty awesome shot right there.
You got it? Whoa.
Got it.
Man,
Nice.
they can be quick.
Wow, look at that. Completely fills the inside of the net. Each salamander is unique, and we have to collect the biometric data for every one that we find. So let's get it up here on shore and get what we need. All right, guys, now before we collect the biometric data of the salamander, what I want to do, because this one is so big, is place it inside of this container so we can take an up-close look at its really cool features. Now, this will allow you guys to get a better look and, of course, us the opportunity to admire it. All right, let's go ahead and get the salamander in there. Oh, this is gonna be cool. You guys got good shots?
Yep.
Here we go. Wow. The Japanese giant salamander. Have you ever seen an amphibian of that size? It's so big, it almost doesn't fit in the container. Now, notice the shape of this salamander's head. It's wedge-shaped, it's big, it's flat. That allows them to cut through the current and certainly wedge themselves underneath rocks where, of course, they build their dens. And what's very distinct about this salamander as compared to the hellbender is look at all these fleshy little nodules on the head. We didn't see that with the hellbender. And I'm guessing, and Dr. Okada, correct me if I'm wrong, those are sensory organs, right? To help them feel around in their environment, sense chemicals, because as you can see, they have very small eyes, very poor eyesight. So they primarily rely on their chemical receptors to help them navigate their environment. Now, as you move your way down the length of the amphibian's body, you'll notice these flaps of skin, right? It looks very wrinkly. Those flaps are actually capable of helping them exchange gases within the water. Basically, this is a way for them to breathe when they're completely submerged. As we know, a lot of amphibians absorb their environment or absorb oxygen in through their skin, and the Japanese giant salamander is a perfect example of an amphibian that uses its skin to breathe. Now you notice the length between the front legs and the rear legs has quite a noticeable spread, right? That allows them to keep their body really low and squat to the basin of the river. Now, each one of these arms, and of course the legs, are very short and stumpy, but they are armed with little pads on their fingertips. They have 4 fingers up front, 5 fingers in the back, and those little nuptial pads, they're almost peach in coloration, allow them to grip to the basin of the river. Dr. Okada, can we take a look at the salamander's toes? Let's show those little nuptial pads, maybe on the back foot here. If you can just sort of lean that foot up for Mario's camera there. See if we can look at those pads. You guys see that? Go ahead and zoom in there. Now you'll notice that the feet are not really webbed like a frog, right? There's a little bit of webbing, it looks like, at just where the toes connect to the foot, but those pads are really what they rely on to help them move through the environment. They can pretty much lock in place no matter how powerful the current. I noticed that there's like a little divot, a couple divots in the tail. Is that where it's maybe something tried to eat it or bite it?
Yeah, bitten. Where something hit the stone.
Okay, so maybe a potential predator bit at this. Of course, males will also fight with each other to protect breeding territories, or of course, as we know, the male Japanese giant salamander is oftentimes considered the den master. They look after the eggs and after the larvae. So, of course, this salamander would be defending its young if something tried to come in and consume the babies. Now, what's really cool is that when we walked up on this salamander, it was in the process of hunting. And to me, that's one of the most impressive features of this creature is the fact that it will lay in wait in an ambush position, and then they have that enormous mouth. Their jaws spread all the way far back so they can just gulp something up straight out of the water, whether it's a crayfish or a crab, a frog, or sometimes they will even eat other salamanders. So in a sense, this amphibian can be cannibalistic. If it's a smaller Japanese giant salamander, it stands the chance of becoming a meal. All right, well, I would say at this point, we're probably ready to collect the biometric data. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna bring in the measuring tube here, and Dr. Okada is going to pick the salamander up. We're gonna put it in there and collect this important research.
The same protocol is followed for each and every salamander. As the length is carefully recorded, the weight is accurately checked, and the slippery amphibian is scanned to determine whether or not it was previously tagged. This gentle giant was already in the record books, so its biometrics will be updated, and the good news is that it appears healthy and happy. Further confirmation that this remote population, for now, is continuing to thrive.
Well, we have collected all the necessary biometric data, and it is time to release the salamander back into the wild. Dr. Okada, thank you so much for leading this expedition tonight. How awesome was this, guys? Heading into the backcountry of Japan to get up close with the one and only Japanese giant salamander. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. All right, back down to the river.
For millions of years, these mysterious creatures lived and thrived within these ancient waters. The legends of countless stories, and the keepers of the river's spirit. Yet in less than a century, the realm of river dragons has nearly been wiped out. The future of the Japanese giant salamander is unknown, and sadly the probability of it becoming extinct is a very real threat due to the negative effects of human activity. If the nesting sites of these beautiful amphibians continue to be destroyed, with the building of dams and embankment protection walls, their fate is all but written in the concrete that is yet to be poured. For Okada-sensei, the fight to educate the public and protect the giants and their habitats that do still remain is never ending. Yet hope shines brightly as the work he so passionately enjoys is already being passed down and honored by his son with open arms and smiles of excitement. If you would like to make a difference in protecting the Japanese giant salamander and also dream of seeing these beautiful animals in the wild for yourself, make sure to visit the website that is helping to ensure that there is a future in the realm of river dragons. The giant salamander is considered a special national monument by the Japanese government, and for centuries, it has lurked in the shadows of myth and lore. Ranking as the second largest salamander species in the world, they can grow to lengths of nearly 5 feet, classifying them as monstrous in the world of amphibians. The brave wilderness team and I had the incredible honor of working alongside renowned salamander expert Dr. Sumio Okada, and we traveled deep into the wilds of the Tottori Prefecture to find and collect biometric data on these elusive river dragons.
Wait, come right here. Right here, we got one. Wow, look at that. Have you ever seen an amphibian of that size?
Due to their vulnerable status and strict licensing, only Okada-sensei was allowed to catch and handle the wild specimens. Yet when it comes to giants in captivity, the regulations are a bit more flexible. Today we are visiting the Hanzaki Research Institute of Japan. For over a decade, their mission has been to research and help to ensure the survival of the Japanese giant salamander. In the field, I did my best to learn all I could from Okada-sensei. My diligence toward being a good student in the art of giant salamander research ultimately earned my teacher's trust, and I was given the invitation to assist in the yearly data collection for the Institute's oldest, largest, and most cherished salamander, the great Osanchiro.
All right, so Okada-sensei said, wait right here. He's going up there into the enclosure to check on the salamander. Now, this is one of the largest Japanese giant salamanders ever found that is currently on record. He tells me it is absolutely enormous. It's going to dwarf anything that we saw in the field. I'm super excited, can barely contain myself right now because I'm gonna be able to get hands-on with this animal to help with the measurements. So the role is gonna sort of be reversed here. I'm gonna be collecting the measurements. Okada-sensei is going to be writing them down. Are you guys ready for this? We're going to see one of the largest Japanese giant salamanders ever seen.
Let's do it.
Let's go. Oh no, he's supposed to wait right here. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm like jumping out of my skin right now.
All right, ready?
Good.
All right,
We're ready.
let's do it.
Let's do it, guys.
Oh man.
You guys nervous?
I don't know, I'm excited.
Following in the footsteps of my teacher, we ascended a flight of stairs and entered the paddock of this ancient creature. Its fenced and fortified containment area wasn't necessarily designed to keep the salamander in, but instead was designed to keep any potential predators out.
Now, Okada Sensei has quarantined the biggest one down in one enclosure for us, so it's easier to find, easier for us to catch and collect the biometric data. So it's in this one.
You see it?
Oh, right there, look at that. Look, that's its nose sticking out. Whoa, hold on, get a shot, get a shot. That is a giant salamander. All right, so what we're gonna do is actually enter into the enclosure. We'll peel back these boards, gently get the salamander out into the open water. We're gonna have to get it into a net and then up here to collect the biometric data, but we'll spend a couple minutes there inside the enclosure to sort of look at some of its features and just be in awe of what this creature is. Come around like this. All right, I'll let you go in first. I'm gonna leave my pack up here, guys. All right, guys, I'm going in.
Okay, careful.
Getting into the water. Woo, that is cold. That is some cold water. All right, here, hand me your camera.
Oh boy. Here you go, Mario.
Woo! Before we get the salamander out of there, let me see if I can get a shot of it with the GoPro just hunkered down here. So it's right under here, right? Here. Okay. Let's try to move really, really slowly so that we don't muddy the water. We want to try to keep it as clear as possible. I'm gonna have to just go, sort of just go blind on this here. Hopefully the camera is picking up the salamander. You can see
It's definitely moving backwards. More of the tail's coming out the back.
a lot of debris in there. Oh, I see it, you're right. It is starting to come out the back. Well, maybe we're getting a shot. Tough to tell.
Oh man, it's big.
There it is, it's right there.
It's actually backing out the whole thing.
Oh my goodness, it is huge. That is just its tail. Its tail is like the size of a canoe paddle. This is the largest amphibian I have ever seen in my life. It's time to reveal the beast. You ready?
I do?
You do the rocks?
Yeah, and you do.
I'll get the boards? Okay. Guys, this is something that is done once a year, removing the salamander from the breeding paddock to collect its biometric data. This is a very special day, an incredible honor for all of us to be a part of this process. This is it.
Are you ready?
This is it, yeah. Try to not disturb this silt.
Whoa.
Look at that. Are you kidding me? Look at the size of that thing. There's the head, there's the head. Look at it, it's the size of a cantaloupe. Whoa, my goodness, that is a monstrous salamander.
It's so much bigger than I thought. Oh, wait, there's two.
Yeah, there's a smaller one in here. Smaller one in here, there's another one over here, but that is the big guy. Okada Sensei, so what's the best plan from here? Is it okay for me to go in and bring the salamander around to this side?
Yeah, and catch deep net.
Okay. Okay, got it, thank you. Now here's a question. Before we get it in the net, can you bring it up here and can I slightly lift it to reveal it for the camera?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, before we put it in the net, because once it's in the net, it'll be really hard to see. I'm gonna actually move this smaller one into the next tube here. Come here, buddy. Oh, they're so unique feeling. There you go. You go in here. Oh, wow. This is the first contact I have made with one of these salamanders. It is incredible. Come on, big guy. Here we go. It slowly coax him down through here. There we go. Wow, look at that. An absolute giant. What an ancient creature. A living fossil. This animal is well over 100 years of age. Look at how cool that thing is. Can you believe that? Look at it. Whoa. Oh, he's so slimy. Impossible to hold on to. That's why we have to use a dip net to actually get it out of here. Not only is it strong, but it's also incredibly slippery. All right, so we're gonna gently, there we go, slide down into that net. Okay, the salamander is safely inside of the dip net. So I'm gonna go up and Okada Sensei is gonna pass the giant up to me.
Oh, heavy. Got it?
Okay, yep. Whoa. Got him.
Good, good, good. Whoa, it is strong. It is heavy. Wow. All right, that is me cradling a Japanese giant salamander. Tail first.
Head first.
Head first. Okay, so that this end opens up. Yeah. Okay. Set it in here. There we go. Okay. I do have to be careful that I'm not bitten. They do have extremely sharp teeth, and this is a very large animal. So I have to gently get this opened up, and then he will slide out this end. All right, here we go. Look at that.
Whoa.
Look at that giant. Hi, buddy. Okay. Wow. Okay, get my hand underneath the jaw. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna gently slide it down here, Okada-sensei, so we can fully reveal the salamander. There we go. So slippery. The layer of mucus that coats their bodies it's just like, you see that? It's like snot. Now we want to put as little stress on the creature as possible. We're going to quickly collect the biometric data, get a couple of cool shots, and then release it right back into the enclosure. But let's just take 1 second to admire the design of this animal's body. Look at how wide it is. Look at the head. And you know what? I'm looking, I can't even see the eyes. The eyes are right up front here. They have such teeny tiny little eyes. Get a little water out of there. Oh, that's good. Yes, yes, yes.
Wow. Its head is bigger than your head.
It is. I feel like my entire head could fit inside of its mouth, but that's not a place that you want to find yourself. Look at the tail. Enormous. Absolutely enormous. So much power in this animal, and when I was cradling it as it came up out of the enclosure, you could feel just how strong it truly was. Okay, so the first thing we're gonna end up getting is the total length of the animal. Oh, you hear that noise that it's making?
Yeah, like this.
It's like a grumbling. Oh, just gonna push that rock, push those rocks down. Okay. Okay, cool. We've kind of got him in a good position to get the total length here. Right there? Okay. We're just gonna go with this here. We are at 49 and a half. 49 and a half is what it appears. In centimeters, that is 126 centimeters. Wow, that is a giant. Okay, so we're not gonna do the snout to vent length. It's too much to put this animal on its back to get that measurement. So the next thing we're gonna do is get the head width and also the tail height, and finally its body weight. We've got some rain rolling in, so we're gonna have to do this quickly, guys. All right, I'm gonna get the tail height first. I wanna do that at the highest point, if possible. It is right at 14. 14 centimeters? 14. 21? 21. All right, head width, 21 centimeters. Absolutely dwarfs the giant that we caught in the field. All right, so the next things to do?
Body weight.
Body weight. Okay, so how do we get the body weight?
Have to put it in container.
Okay, put it inside the blue container and then put that on top of this. Okay, great. So we're putting a little bit of water inside of the container just to keep the salamander hydrated. You don't want its skin to stick to the basin. All right, so we're saying that the weight of the container with the water is 16 kilograms. We will put the salamander inside and then subtract that weight from 16.
Coyote, lie down next to it real quick.
Yeah, it's almost impossible to comprehend how big this thing is. You're right, unless we get something like a human next to it for scale. Look at that. All right, now we have to do this quickly and very gently because it's very, very slippery. So we have as little chance for error as possible. Come here, big guy.
Hit the first.
Yep. Okay, there you go. Real gentle. All right. Oh, man. So big. Look at that. For the main episode the other night when we were in the field, we had a small container. This is as big as it gets. So why is this giant salamander in captivity? Great question. Many years ago, during the building of a bridge system, Its home was destroyed, and the animal was accidentally injured by a piece of heavy machinery. The construction team quickly realized what they had found and immediately alerted the Hanzaki Institute. The good news is that the salamander survived. The bad news is that its home was destroyed, and as a displaced animal of this size and stature, it was decided that the great Osanshiro should be kept in captivity.
So that just goes to show you guys that even if an animal like this loses an appendage, something like its foot or its toes, it still has the ability to survive against all odds. I mean, this is considered a national treasure right here. When you look at an animal like this and you think to yourself, wow, this has been on the planet longer than most of us, it is certainly something that needs to be preserved, that needs to be cherished and honored. And it's really cool that this salamander is now a part of the breeding program here at the Hanzaki Institute. All right, you guys ready to get the weight?
Yep, let's get the weight.
Okay, so hands off of the container. We've got it perfectly balanced. Salamander on the scale, and we are at just about 30 kilograms. Remember, we need to take 16 away from that, so 14 kilograms is the weight of this amphibian, an absolute giant. Cannot believe it. Never thought that I would see a salamander of this size.
Man,
So cool.
all right. Cool. Do we want to look at some of its interesting characteristics?
Sure, yeah, let's take it back down off of the scale. We've only got a couple more minutes with it, and then we got to get it back into its enclosure. All right, guys, now the last thing we need to do is sort of just examine the salamander's features, make sure its feet and all the aspects of its body are in really good shape. So the first thing we're going to look at are the 4 feet here. The hands, look at that. Look at how big that hand is. Now, these salamanders have 4 toes on the front feet, and on the back feet, they have 5 toes. Check that out. And those digits are about as big in width as my fingers. Look at that. Holding hands with a Japanese giant salamander. Salamander is incredibly healthy. When you get down to here, you'll notice all of the muscle in this tail. It is just a solid mass of power. Look at that. A large rudder that helps this animal move through the environment and also to quickly maneuver itself if it needs to escape from a predator. Now look at these flaps of skin that run along the sides of the body here. They're actually able to absorb oxygen through those flaps, which helps them to breathe underwater. As we know, they also have lungs. Actually, it was just blowing some bubbles up front there.
So this animal breathes through its skin.
It can. They have lungs. They do come to the surface to get a big gulp of air, but they can stay submerged for hours at a time, especially when the males are defending the den. As we know, the males are oftentimes called den masters. They protect the eggs, they protect the larvae.
So Coyote, what does it feel like?
Like a big, wet, muscular slinky. Go ahead, Mark. Reach down in there. Get some water on your hands first. And just give it a little pet. Feel the skin. Very dense, right?
Oh, wow. A lot different than actually I imagined it being a lot slimier. It's not that slimy.
Yeah, no, but they do secrete more mucus if they're feeling stressed. So it's really good. You can see the animal's completely calm at this point. Just keeping it in a little bit of water helps keep it hydrated. All right, well, I think we have collected all the necessary data, which means it is time for us to safely get this salamander back into its enclosure. All right. That never gets any easier.
Salamander coming in.
Got him.
Good.
Okay. This. All right, there we go. All right, got him.
There he is.
All right. Oh, he's so slippery. Okay, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. All right, here he goes. Wow. That was cool. Okada Sensei, thank you so much for giving us the chance to get up close with this national treasure. What an incredible day for the brave wilderness crew and a true honor to work with this salamander here in Japan. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure.
Nice. High five.
All right, I'm getting out of this cold water.
Working alongside Okada Sensei in the field and getting hands-on with Japanese giant salamanders while visiting the Hanzaki Institute was one of the most meaningful experiences the Brave Wilderness team and I have ever had. Approximately 41% of the world's amphibian species are threatened, and giant salamanders are no exception. The significance this animal holds in Japanese culture cannot be matched, and it was a true honor that we as visitors to this sacred land were entrusted with telling these stories. Conservation efforts for the giant salamander are imperative for its survival, and if you would like to help, make sure to visit bushidojapan.com to ensure that there is a future for these majestic animals.
"8:52. Noise ordinance is enforced at 9 p.m. These kids better quiet down, or they're gonna see Batman get real angry real quick. I think I'll just watch the clock. 8:53, 7 minutes until it's time to fight some ground. What's this? A message from the Nature Conservancy. Corey, the other Batman. What? Come to Tennessee? I don't really have time for this. Fine, let's go. Time to ride. What's going on with this thing? Old tin can hunk of junk Batmobile. Alfred.
Batman?
Yeah, it's Batman.
Everything okay?
And the Batmobile broke down again. Did you update the firmware?
No, I did not.
I'm gonna need another option. Oh yeah, Bat Scooter. Open! I said open already! Oh, there it goes. Piece of junk tin can fretcha. Old trusty Bat Scooter. At least it's electric. Looks like urgent's gonna have a new meaning. It'll take me all night to get there. I wish Catwoman would return my calls. Cash. Who carries cash these days? Corey, I got the call. Came as quick as I could. What's the problem? Who do you need Batman to strike vengeance upon?
I mean, I'm so glad you finally made it. We have an invasive fungus. It's causing disease in bats called white nose syndrome.
Ooh, that's not good.
It affects them while they hibernate. It's killed millions of bats.
That's really bad. What do you need me to do?
Well, we really need your help. We need to better understand the fungus and the bats. We need to catch a lot of bats so we can understand their lives better so we know how to protect them.
Yeah. You know, Corey, it sounds like my arch nemesis, fungi. The bad news for you is I'm terrified of bats. They haunt my nightmares, these little nocturnal creatures. But the good news is that I know somebody who I'm pretty sure can help. Hey, sound guy, quick, my bat phone.
Looks like an iPhone.
Don't get cute. This is a high-tech gizmo. Now excuse Batman while he makes a call.
Batman, wrong way?
Oh. Thanks, Corey. Peterson, it's Batman. I've got a mission for you. What?
Hang up and try again.
What's up, Batman?
Peterson, it's Batman again. Bad reception out there. I was in a cave. Listen, I need you to get down to Clarksville, Tennessee, stat.
Clarksville?
Yeah, no, Clarksville. That's what I said.
Right now, I'm literally about to get a Chaos Emerald and Sonic the Hedgehog.
I don't care if you're playing Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, get down to Clarksville now. You're gonna be working with a guy named Corey. Looks like a Viking. Apparently calls himself a Batman, but we all know I'm the real Batman.
Yeah, we get it. You're the real Batman. So, is it gonna be like last time? I mean, is Alfred gonna wire me money, or how do you want to do this?
No, you're not gonna get paid for this adventure. What are you talking about? This is for conservation. The bats need your help.
Yeah, okay, fine. I'm just kidding. I don't have to get paid anything. I'll tell you what, I'll go get in the car right now, okay? But what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna fight the bad guy, fun guy.
Yeah, you are a fun guy, Batman, aren't you?
Yeah, I know I'm a fun guy. No, the bad guy's name is Fun Guy.
Wait, so you're the bad guy? I don't understand.
Listen, Peterson, just get down here to Clarksville and do anything Corey tells you. If you don't do a good job, I'm gonna pound you. We gotta save the bats. Batman out.
Yeah, Chaos Emerald. Okay, this looks like it is the GPS point for the turn. It's now time to go off-road and head up to meet Corey and his team. Now, Corey is one of the most renowned bat experts here in the eastern United States. And when the Batman calls and says, today you're gonna be working with another Batman, he jumps straight into action.
Wow, Batman sent Coyote Peterson?
I am Coyote Peterson. You must be Corey, the other Batman.
Yeah, man.
Okay, well, the one in the cowl said to come down here, find you, and do whatever it is that's necessary. But I have no idea what is it that we're doing.
Excellent. So we're here at a cave tonight. We're gonna catch some endangered gray bats. We're gonna apply some transmitters to them. We're generally trying to understand more about their lives so we can conserve and recover them.
Okay, well, I noticed it's still daylight now, so I feel like I made it in the right amount of time. Batman was very specific. He goes, Coyote, you better get there before it gets dark or I'm gonna pound you. I said, all right, Batman, calm down a little bit. I'll get there, I'll find Corey. And what do we do until it gets dark?
So the bats will start coming out when it's dark. Until then, we've got a bunch of volunteers. You can just make yourself at home and introduce yourself around.
Okay, well, let's see if we can uphold our responsibilities to help the bats tonight and make Batman and Batman proud.
Let's do it.
Ooh, this is cool. Kind of reminds me of the fence in Jurassic Park 3 when they escape from the Spinosaur. This structure is what encloses in the Bat Cave. And tonight, hundreds of thousands of these little bats are going to pour out of this hole in the ground. And this trap right here, the harp trap, is what is going to catch them. Completely safe for us to be able to get hands on with these little winged mammals. Now, they're gonna flutter up from the hole, bloop, 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 like that, right into this fishing line. Now, when the bats hit it, it's gonna throw them off course and drop them into this trough. So there will be multiple people who are properly permitted to be able to handle these bats. We're gonna get them in bags, they're gonna get passed out of the enclosure and then up to the table where we will analyze them, pull some biometrics, and with some of them, place little tiny transmitters so that Corey and his team can follow the migration pattern of these nocturnal winged creatures. Right now, I am playing the role of Bat Boy, which means that I am waiting for bats to come up from the trap. I was told there's gonna be about 20 bats in this next haul, and they're gonna be in a box, perhaps. I'm gonna have to quickly but gently move them up the hill, get them up to the hooks, and then to Corey to find out whether or not these are ones that are gonna get transmitters put on them. Waiting for the right one. I feel like I'm gonna see it. I'm gonna know it when it's the right bat. All right, I think I see the one that I wanna take back to Corey. We got a jumbo right here. All right, is this going to be the bat that we place a transmitter on? We're about to find out. All right, Corey.
Awesome.
We got a super fighter here. I've endearingly named it Fuzzy Butt, and this one just really wants to get out of the bag, and it seems big. I'm pretty sure it's an adult.
Looks like a healthy bat to me. Yeah, let's have a look.
Seems heavy.
About 12 grams.
12 grams, okay.
Including the bag, and the bag is 2.3, so that's plenty big enough for us to put a transmitter on, and is very likely to be an adult. And you can see all the sort of finger bones. It's just like the fingers in our hands.
Right, so for everybody out there watching to understand who know nothing about bats, their wings are actually like their hands as compared to like a bird's wings.
Yeah, yep. They're in the order Chiroptera, and that means hand wing.
Hand wing.
Yep, and they're mammals. People kind of think of them as flying mice or rodents, but they're actually much more closely related to primates and us.
Wow.
Looks like a male.
It's a male, okay.
Yeah, we're checking that sort of knuckle to see if the bone is fused or not.
Okay.
And tells us if it's an adult or a juvenile.
And so it is fused.
This is fused, it's
Okay.
an adult. A very healthy looking gray bat. Let's go ahead and get that forearm measurement.
Okay.
You wanna grab those calipers?
Oh man, he is really, can't bite through your glove?
No.
He's really going for it.
Yeah, he's giving it a shot. All right, let's see. What do we think?
We are at 44 millimeters.
Oh, that's a big one.
Yeah.
Fuzzy Butt's
Oh, I
healthy.
picked a good one.
Yeah, you did.
All right, so these bats can carry rabies, correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
Just like a lot of other mammals, bats are actually really, really interesting. So things with bones, vertebrates like us, that fly are really rare on Earth.
Yeah.
You know, it's only happened 3 times. Pterosaurs, birds, and bats. And to do that, they have to have some really sort of specialized internal systems. And one of those is sort of cellular recovery, because they're flapping their wings so fast and so hard, they're burning a lot of cells and they're damaging a lot of tissue. And they repair that really, really fast. But that also sort of creates a scenario where if they have viruses, the viruses have to become super strong to live inside the bat.
Okay,
because the
so-
bats are so healthy and robust. And that is why it impacts other animals like humans.
Okay.
So we're gonna take our transmitter.
Okay.
And
You want me to apply a little bit of glue under there?
if you would flip that over so the flat side is facing up. And then,
Is it hard for you to focus with all of this chattering coming out of Fuzzy Butt right now?
no, I'm pretty used to it.
I mean, this bat has so much to say. It's unbelievable how loud this is in my ear. The high-pitched nature of that little squeak is impressive. Boy, I bet if Batman's watching this episode, he's gonna be super proud of the work that we're doing here. And so it's clear, for the past 20 years, you've been doing research on these bats with the Nature Conservancy.
That's right.
And the goal in the end for having these transmitters on the bats, and the transmitters will eventually fall out, the goal is to find what information?
So we're trying to understand what type of habitat they're using in the summertime, what their foraging range is, how far are they going from this cave, what type of habitat are they using, are they generally over waterways, are they, you know, over farm fields, things of that nature. So we understand what sort of habitat to protect for this bat moving forward.
Got it. So there's no guarantee that when these bats leave this cave that they're coming back to this cave every night. They could go into a different cave or roost elsewhere?
Yeah, this is our second year doing this particular project at this site. And last year we did have bats that the night after we put transmitters on, they flew to another cave 50 miles away and were detected there for multiple days. So these bats move around the landscape quite a bit, and we don't really have a good understanding of what they're doing and where they're going.
And ultimately this research will help you determine maybe why they're moving from spot to spot.
That's right.
Okay. So you love bats.
I do.
The Nature Conservancy loves bats,
Yep.
wants to conserve them. Why should people love bats?
You know, bats are really, really fascinating on a lot of levels. Sort of the textbook answer is they're really, really incredible insect eaters. Things that are generally considered crop pests and impact our agricultural chain. You know, here in Tennessee, there have been estimates of, you know, millions and millions of dollars that bats are saving the agricultural industry. And in the United States wide, it's billions of dollars.
Okay.
Yeah.
So bats are big money savers at the end of the day.
Big time.
I feel like bats have a little bit of a bad reputation because, you know, throughout the course of history, bats have been associated with things like vampires. Get bitten by a bat, you might turn into a vampire. Or that you might get rabies. But as it turns out, bats are really doing quite a bit of good for the entire food cycle that we rely on as humans.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Oh, that's good to know. So the protection that you're doing, the protection the Nature Conservancy is doing to ensure that the future of bats is protected is really pretty important.
Yep. It's what we consider sort of a landscape service for humans.
Very cool.
Yeah, they're these small little animals. We don't know much about them. I think people have that fear. They fall into the creepy and crawly because they live a very different lifestyle than we do. They're nocturnal, and they're just very different.
Well, you know, this is an episode that we're going to put out around Halloween time, and the reason for that is because people tune into things around Halloween time because of the creepy crawly nature. But anytime we can dispel some of the myths and rumors surrounding things that people are afraid of, it's better for the animals in the long run.
Yeah, and bats are just fascinating animals. I mean, everything we're learning from this project is new information that nobody knew before. So we're gonna go ahead and stick this transmitter on.
Adhering the transmitter.
Yeah, and we're just gonna hold that transmitter for a few minutes.
Now in the grand scheme of feisty bats, where does Fuzzy Butt rank on the loudest and most rambunctious?
Fuzzy Butt is up there.
Okay.
Yeah, so for gray bats especially, they tend to be kind of calm and chill. And Fuzzy Butt is not chill.
This is the angriest bat in the entire cave.
It probably is.
Out of the 300,000, we picked the one with the most attitude.
I think you did.
Can you understand bat chirps and squeaks and whatnot?
I'm afraid not.
Yeah, our ears just can't pick that up, right?
That's right. I'm not attuned. But they are very vocal and they're very social, and we know that they communicate with each other. And they communicate a lot of information vocally, bat to bat.
I'll tell you what, when I get on the phone tomorrow with Batman, I'm going to report back that Fuzzy Butt certainly had a lot to say. He's off somewhere fighting something named fungi, some bad guy named fungi.
Yeah.
You know anything about this?
I do.
What's this fungi thing that I keep hearing about?
It's bad. So it's this fungus that's affecting cave hibernating bats.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So it's a real thing. It's not, this is just some fungi that likes to cause trouble. It's a fungus?
It's a real thing.
Clearly I misunderstood that. All right, so what's happening with the fungus and the bats?
So there's an invasive fungus that is affecting bats while they're hibernating in caves.
Okay.
And it causes them to use up their energy stores faster than they would normally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so bats normally have about 2 or so grams of fat to get them through the winter, and it's not very much. And the fungus just causes them to sort of wake up and use more energy than they would normally. And millions of bats have died from this fungus.
Wow, what is the fungus called?
So it causes a disease known as white nose syndrome.
White nose syndrome. Okay, Batman's mission right now is to actually go and fight fungi and hopefully bring this to an end. Do you think that's possible?
I'm glad to hear he's on the case.
Yeah, I mean, I was told he was on the case. I guess we're gonna have to wait till the end of this episode to find out whether or not he actually concludes his mission.
Okay.
So how do you think he's doing with his glued-on transmitter?
I think he's looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's time to let this guy fly free?
We're gonna pull the decals off.
Okay.
Stick it on the data sheet, make sure it's on the line. So I think Fuzzy Butt's ready to go.
He's just gonna keep biting your fingers if you don't let him go.
Would you like to let Fuzzy Butt go?
I would love to. If I put on the glove, you think, not without gloves, huh?
Let's do it.
These are some pretty durable gloves, so I think I'm gonna be okay.
Wearing a glove and vaccinated against rabies?
Yeah, I'm in good shape.
I think you can do it.
All right, Fuzzy Butt. This is the big moment I've been waiting for. Free you back into the wild.
So you just kind of hold that tail membrane. Very, very gently.
Got him, okay.
And then hold him up high.
Wow, he's chomping right into my finger. All right, you guys got a good shot there on Fuzzy Butt. Fly free, my friend.
Hold him up a little higher. There you go. There goes Fuzzy Butt.
There goes Fuzzy Butt.
Awesome.
And we didn't get attacked.
No.
How about that? Woo! Well, Corey, that was awesome. Getting the chance to come out here, help you and the Nature Conservancy with your research. And now we'll be able to figure out where these bats are going and what they're doing.
So. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, stay tuned, guys. I have a feeling we're going to have a little update from Batman. We're going to find out whether or not he meets up with fungi and whether or not he can win the battle. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. Corey, that was
Thank
awesome.
you, Coyote.
Where are you, fungi? I know you're here somewhere. I can smell you. It's burning my nose. There you are. That white nose packs a punch. All right, white nose. I got you right where I want you now.
Bats are gross. They drink blood.
Whoa, we don't say that. It's a misconception. Most of us eat fruit and insects.
You're blind as a bat. You can't even hit me.
Yeah, right. We use echolocation. Take this.
Echolocate this.
Oh, right, my bat buttons. Oh.
What good are bats anyways? They just get stuck in people's hair.
Wrong again. Bats serve an important role in ecosystems worldwide, just like the ones Corey's trying to protect. You're finished, white nose syndrome. Mission accomplished.
He forgot to latch me in. That's right. You're gonna need better conservation efforts to protect your precious bats.
Hey, bats need better conservation. Somebody needs to help Corey and Peterson. Clearly, bats are gonna go extinct if we don't do something, but Batman can't save everyone. Jeez. The fight against white nose syndrome is ongoing, but with frontline warriors like Corey leading the battle, hope is on the horizon. For those who are now big fans of Fuzzy Butt, we're excited to let you know that this individual was very active during the course of his tracking, and on a nightly basis would travel like up to 50 miles to hunt for food. That's crazy. The coolest part is that he would always return to this same location to roost. Cave, sweet cave. A big thanks to Nature Conservancy for allowing me specifically to be a part of this research. And if you'd like to get involved or, follow along with any of their other projects, make sure to check out their website. As for me, Batman, enjoy these deleted scenes as I continue to strike vengeance upon someone, somewhere, for some reason. Okay, Batman out.
We can't make a Bat/Batman episode without talking about Batman. Do you have a favorite Batman throughout the years? And there's many, and the animated series also counts.
I'm gonna have to go with Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton,
For me,
okay.
that's Batman.
Oh, my shoe's untied, hold on a second.
What about this Batman?
Nah,
Think smart before you answer, Corey, and don't get cute.
Michael Keaton.
Michael Keaton, that's it.
Sorry, I didn't see that thing. Almost killed us.
What good are bats anyways? They just get into people's hair.
Oh, sorry. I can't see. I'm sorry. Oh, I punched you right in the nose. Ow! I can't see in this.
All right, well, that might conclude the punches. We got one good one.
Oh, dude, I'm sorry.
You're okay. Good thing you didn't break my teeth.
Ow!
What just happened, Batman?
Oh, is my nose bleeding or no?
No, you're good.
That's good. I got a pretty strong nose. He just clocked me right in the face.
I'm so sorry.
You're good. Oh, woo! All right, well, I'm sure it happens to Batman in real life. All right, back to scene.
I have no depth perception. I can't see.
We were way too close.
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good. You got me square right in the nose. Woo!
When I say Tasmanian Devil, I have a good feeling that the first thing that comes to mind is this guy right here, Taz from the Looney Tunes cartoon. One of my favorites as a kid. He was notorious for being ill-tempered, spinning around like a tornado, destroying everything, and talking like this. But what do you really know about this creature? It's one of the most unique marsupials on the planet. Carnivorous, it's a scavenger, and they're famous for having one of the most powerful bite forces based on size per body mass. Today we're gonna find out just how powerful that bite is by entering into a feeding frenzy with an entire pack of Tasmanian Devils. But what I ultimately want to determine is whether or not the Tasmanian Devil has a softer side. Perhaps that bite isn't quite as loud as its bark. The Barrington Tops are unlike any other place in Australia, and they resemble the environment devils naturally roam on the island of Tasmania. Today we will be working alongside Kelly Davis at Aussiark, a conservation organization that began in 2011. This initiative was strategically set up and separated from Tasmania, where in recent years, an incurable illness known as devil facial tumor disease has decimated wild populations of devils, driving their species toward the brink of extinction. It's a massive undertaking, but thanks to an incredibly successful and quite active breeding program, a founding population of 44 devils has now produced over 500 healthy joeys. And until a cure is found, this insurance population survival is crucial to the future of this species. More on that and how you can help at the end of the video. But right now, it's time for dinner with a devil.
Good morning.
Hey, how you going?
Good, Cal, nice to meet you.
You too.
All right, looks like we've got some prep already set up with our Tasmanian Devil feeding frenzy. I brought Taz with me today. Has a film crew ever brought a Tasmanian Devil to a Tasmanian Devil feeding frenzy?
I think it's a first.
Yes, I was hoping that would be the case. What is the buffet line that we have set up for the Devils today?
So we've got some nice, lean, natural kangaroo for them, so all the buckets are ready to go.
Okay, oh really? I don't have to chop anything up?
You can if you want to.
I will definitely avoid cutting up the meat if I have to. I'll just get right into the feeding frenzy.
Awesome.
Okay, so grab these buckets?
Yeah, they can just go on the back of the ute.
Oh, wow, yeah, no. Definitely smells like fresh kangaroo. Okay, this is the first gate we must go through, and then there'll be a second gate. Let me know just in advance, little safety, quick tips before we enter with the Devils.
Absolutely, so they're all here ready and waiting. They're very keen, they're very, very food motivated. But the thing of it is that the meat, that's what they want.
Okay.
So a lot of people are really tempted to try and walk to where we need to go and hold the meat high up in the air. If they can't get to the meat, they're gonna get for you.
Right.
So you wanna just make sure that they're on the meat and you always keep the meat between you and the devil.
Yeah, we'll avoid the bites as best as we can. This is our, this is like a whole leg. Oh yeah, okay. Grab this up and, all right, I think I'm ready. Let's feed some Tasmanian Devils.
Let's do it.
Oh, hey fellas. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got meat here. Little sniff test, nice and fresh. Oh, you guys hear them? All right, so they're getting really fired up now, right?
Absolutely, they can't wait.
So the sense of smell is what's drawing them all in from all the underbrush.
Absolutely, they could smell that when we drove it through the main gate.
Okay.
You ready?
All right, here we go.
Make sure you keep the meat low. Let them have it.
Look at this, look at this. Look what Coyote's got. Oh, all right, we got one on, There you go, guys. Everybody in for a little bit of the kangaroo buffet line. They're really heavy. So much strong, it's like playing tug of war with your dog in the backyard. Only Whoa, with a bunch of biting. Ultimate Tasmanian Devil tug of war. Woo! All right, coming up on the pole here. And, oh, there you go, guys. Woo! Ah, that's fantastic. All right, Cal, so we are right here, about as close as you could get to a devil frenzy.
Yes.
And not necessarily in danger at this point. Like you said, they're really focused on the meat.
Well, this is the thing. People have this idea about what a Tasmanian devil is, and it is largely affected by cartoons, etc. But you know, how many carnivores can you eat? Lions, you're not going into a pride of lions as they're tearing apart something, and that's what they're focused on. They're not hunters, they're really scavengers. So we're alive, we're fine.
So they smell the fact that this is non-living meat, and they say this is exactly what we should be feasting on. And they're, in a sense, the cleanup crew within the environment.
Absolutely, they perform such an important ecological role in that regard, preventing spread of disease.
When we're talking bite force with this animal, where does it rank amongst Australia's mammals?
It's actually the strongest closing bite force for any animal for their size. So if you scaled it up, they'd be, you know, more powerful than a lion or a tiger or a whale or anything like that. They're only around 8 to 10 kilos, but they have the equivalent jaw pressure of a 50-kilo dog.
I mean, look at how fast they're just demolishing that meat, and they'll go through the tendon, the skin, the hair, and even the bone.
Absolutely, yeah. They go for what is quickest first, so they can get as much food as possible, because they don't really want to share too much. And so that's the muscle. That's really quick and easy for them to do. And then, you know, the smaller bones that are really easy, then start working on that skin and that fur. It takes a little bit more effort. And then that big, thick leg bone, they'll be gnawing on for a little while.
So you can see as they're getting excited, their ears are actually getting redder as they're continuing with their meal.
So what that is, why they have the red ears, is, you know, for us, if we exert ourselves, our face flushes and that's how we cool down. Because they're covered in fur, they can't do that. Except on the ears, you don't have much fur covering, so they've got lots of blood vessels within that area, and so their blood rushes to the ears to help cool them down.
Easy. You guys
So this is something that we see as well. As that food has gotten less, that's when those fights start to break out a little more. They're fighting over those last easy morsels.
They're definitely very focused on the meal at the moment. It's impressive to see how quickly they've really worked off all of the meat at this point. Now they're really into just the tendons and the bones. And will they actually digest the bone?
They will, yeah. You can actually see it in their scat, in their feces, where they've got, it's a paler color, and that's where they've ingested a lot of that bone.
Now I noticed that their faces are quite gnarled. Is this from fighting? I mean, their hides must be incredibly tough to be fighting each other and biting each other all the time.
Yeah, so people think it's over food, but for the most part, the fights in devils occur during breeding.
Okay.
It's a sort of test of strength, but they're not really too much or very often biting each other, but that's enough for those scars to occur and enough for the disease to spread through the population as well.
Right, so when it comes to devil facial tumor disease, that's how it's primarily spread from devil to devil. It sounds like it's more of posturing in many instances than it is an actual full-on fight, but that's how the disease is ultimately transmitted.
Absolutely, and if you think about how quickly they've just eaten that, if you're spending too long fighting, then you're going to miss out on food. And so a lot of their little interactions are very brief and a lot of bluff and display. But it is, you know, this disease is spread through their natural behaviours, what they'd normally be doing. Now that you've seen how quickly they can tear apart flesh, would you like to hold one?
I think I would love to hold a devil. Let's see if I can do that without losing some fingers.
Let's go.
All right, Cal, so we're gonna get into an enclosure now with a devil that may be a little friendlier. Do I need my bite-proof gloves to snuggle?
Should be okay, but just don't quote me on that.
Okay, we'll see what happens. And we're gonna be meeting with Sandy.
Yeah, Sandy, or Sandra D, she's one of our ambassador devils. So she's a lot more humanized and usually enjoys a little cuddle.
Okay, well, this will be the softer side of Tasmanian devils. We've seen what they look like ferocious. I see her over there. Let's see if we can make friends.
All right. This is actually her brother, Danny.
Oh, this is Danny.
This is Danny, or Danny Zuko.
That is like the quintessential field guide specimen devil right there. So then this must be Sandy.
This is Sandy.
Do you want us to go back here into the shade? You just grabbed onto her, just like that. Okay.
since she was really, really little, she loves a little bit of a comfort bite. So that's what she'd be doing with Mum, just holding on and making sure that she's safe and has that connection. So she might do that with your clothing or your fingers or something like that, but there shouldn't be any aggression to it. She just wants to feel nice and comfortable. But how cool are those feet?
The pads are incredible. I mean, it feels a little bit like a raccoon paw. It's like if a raccoon and a badger combined together and this was their paw, that's exactly what it would be.
Yeah.
She's so sweet.
You ready?
Let's see. I'm ready. Hi.
And probably keep her away from your face,
Yeah,
just in case.
Just in case. Sandy, hi, buddy. Oh, yep, there's the little comfort chew on the jacket. Yeah, you chew away on the jacket. Totally cool with me. Totally cool. Yep, that's a zipper. Very nice. Yeah, she's so soft. The bristliness of the coat is really cute. All right, let's just crouch down right here. Let's see if she'll hang out with us for a second.
Hi, baby.
All right. So let's talk for a second about the conservation work that you guys are doing here at Aussiark. When we were in the middle of the frenzy, we talked a little bit about devil facial tumor disease. But why is it so important for you guys to be creating a contingency population of these animals right now?
If the devils go extinct in Tasmania in the wild, so does the disease. And so if you have that insurance population, you can repopulate. And so that's, that's where Aussiark came in, or Devil Ark as we used to be. And we were a dedicated breeding facility for Tasmanian Devils. You know, we have 200 here, so that's, you know, more than don't do that. More than double the carrying capacity worldwide as it was previously.
So in doing this, you guys are ensuring that devils will never go extinct. They're not gonna go the way of the thylacine. And this population will ensure that no matter what happens in the wild in Tasmania, devils will always be a part of our planet.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Well, Cal, it certainly was an amazing experience getting in today with the devil feeding frenzy and then getting to see this softer side of a creature that has such a ferocious reputation. I mean, Sandy here has just been snuggling for multiple minutes in a row. I don't want to let her down, but she definitely wants to just get back in and run around in her enclosure. Thank you so much for having us out today. This was awesome. I'm Coyote Peterson. Be brave, stay wild. We'll see you on the next adventure. All right, Sandy, I think it's time for lunch. What do you think?
It takes a massive amount of dedication to care for this population of devils. And if you would like to be a part of this ongoing effort, visit Aussiark's website and discover how you can help preserve the future for these adorably ferocious creatures.